viewers, none. Yay! Okay, I'm live. No, please don't. It's just okay. And then you just use me as a joke later on in your life. Okay, so I'm going to edit this really quickly. So this is not due in, let me put the change the due date on this because it's not due then. So what's the date today? The 4th. Okay, so we're going to have this due on the 11th. Because what are we doing on the 11th? Okay, midterm. So this is a part of your midterm, and that's why I'm recording it and streaming it. And you're going to be doing the same basic thing for the midterm. So if you do it and save it now, hey. So we're doing this as a lab, and it's going to be due when you turn in your test or whenever you get there. And so the midterm's going to be on Canvas, and some of the questions we'll get the answers to some of the questions here. And again, you should never have to do stats by yourself. So we're going to be talking to each other. We're going to be working with each other to answer all the questions. But so let me go to the data really quickly here, wherever the data went. There's my capture files. I don't want that. I thought I opened up SPSS, but I guess I didn't. Minimize all that stuff. Open, data, downloads, bodies, open. Oh, it says it's already open. There we go. I thought I did that already. Okay, here we go. So, what's the first thing you're supposed to do with the data when you open it? Okay, variable view. And I would go to File and Save As. And what would you save this as? Yeah, your name. Everybody's going to name it something, bodies. So make sure you put your name in front of it. Like, they'll never find all the dead bodies. Okay. Hide the bodies. Good one. Good. Let's think positively. Okay. So, do we need to put some labels in this data? When you're making graphs, it's nice to know what the graph means. So I see the sideways looking back and forth in the back row. You guys got this okay? Every time I see a lot of sideways looking, I know that they're panicky. Yes. Desktop, yes. So save it on the desktop. The reason you save it on the desktop is so that you can find it again when you want to upload this to your Google Drive. Okay. So, I lost the mouse. There it is. What does sex mean? No. Biological male or femaleness. Okay? So, this is biological. Yeah. So the reason I'm saying biological sex is because gender itself is a construct. Biological? Spelling is not required. It's kind of a biblical biological combination right there. Okay, so yes. Because you're probably trying to save it in the same place.
Oh, okay.
So this over here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you were trying to save it on the network. And I have it locked, so you can't. Ha ha ha. Yeah, that's it. You did perfect though. Okay. Everybody else good? Okay, good job. Okay, so what does HR stand for? The filing I had to do with human resources to not get fired after this experiment. No. Heart rate. So one of the hypotheses that we can look at is that theoretically, people who have higher aspect ratios are better athletes. Because anybody know what aspect ratio really has to do? Testosterone. That's why if we measure the flyers, you probably have a higher ratio than someone who's non-flyer, non-gymnastics, because The people that are willing to take the risks of being thrown high in the air are generally more masculine or have higher testosterone, like Lindsey Vonn. Why is she one of the best skiers in history? High testosterone. She's like she's higher testosterone than a lot of guys are. But she's also one of the best world-class skiers. And pretty. Okay. What does tall mean? Good. Should you put height there? Yes, because when you're making a graph and it says tall, it doesn't make sense. Yes. No stupid questions. That's not a stupid question at all. SPSS assumes that you know what you're doing. So what do you have to do occasionally? Hit save. I highly suggest anytime you make any sort of major change, click save. That's a really good question. It's not a stupid question at all. That's good. So what am I typing in now? Yeah. I'm typing, well, finger. Okay. So I'm typing in the, I know it says pinky, but what does R mean then? Right, pinky. Okay, so I'm not going to bother typing in the rest of these. No, because there's no differences on the right hand. All the differences are on the left hand. But we can test it to make sure before we fill in the rest. But I know the differences are on the right hand. Okay. The differences are on the left hand. So that's why we're labeling those, because those are where you're going to see the differences. I mean, if you were doing this for real, you'd label everything. Well, you won't. Well, once you run the correlations and you know what's interesting, then you know what to label, then you know what to make graph code. Do you have a sequence code? Yeah. Okay, so I just want to make sure you understand what these measurements are, because what we're going to do right off the bat is we're going to describe our sample, and then we're going to run the correlations to look for things that are interesting. Okay? So what does head mean? Head diameter. We measured it, we put a yo-yo string around the people's foreheads, measured their head diameters. Torso length, arm length, forearm length. What's the variable name for forearm length? Cubit. That's what we call it, because that's what it's a cubit. But it really, I put the words forearm length. Okay? Arm ratio, okay, wait, sorry. Then there's whole leg, femur, calf, and foot. Okay? And then torso, head, okay, what are the ratios then? How do you calculate a ratio? We want to look at proportional to their height. Proportional to their height. We know that men and women are different heights. So we're going to find out what percentage of their leg is their height. So we take whatever their height measurement is, and we divide their leg by their height. And we calculate the proportion. That's why we can draw males and females on the same scale. That's why proportionately, males and females have the same size feet. Taller women have bigger feet. Ooh. So you take whatever measurement you have and scale it by height. Once you get a ratio, I can scale it to whatever I want. So once I have my ratios, I could draw a meter-sized person. We could even draw a life-sized person if we wanted to. All we have to do is multiply it by the average height, and we could scale it to, we could make a life-sized person. Highly entertaining, we might actually have to do that. We could literally, I wanted to make them out of clay, but I'm worried about the germs being spread back and forth through the clay, because this class tends to eat clay, so we're not going to do that anymore. Okay. Mrs. Krabappel? Okay. Yeah, it's really hard not to. Okay. So So all of these ratios, we have arm, forearm, foot, calf, leg. Those are the ratios that I use to draw that drawing on the board. Those are the ratios that I use. So I scaled it to 20 centimeters. So 20 centimeters becomes their height, and I just multiply whatever the value is by 20, and it tells me how many millimeters out of the 20 that they are. Or centimeters, technically. Okay. So I wanted to do it with meters on the board, but I realized that the data set was in my office, not in my laptop. Okay. So what do I have to do first before you can do any analysis? First step. You've already, I'm going to click save because I just labeled stuff. Okay, good. Open the file, save the file where you can find it, check. What do we do next? Uh-oh. Make what graph? Just random willy-nilly graph? Pie charts. What are we going to make a pie chart of? What's the only variable that's really important for us? Not height. Pie chart of height would be ugly. Male and female. Height. Sorry, not male and female. Male and female. I don't want to say height, I meant frequency. Why am I making a pie chart? Not the difference. How many of who we have. Remember the first, how many males, how many females? The first thing we have to do is test, do we have enough subjects to actually do the analysis? It sucks to do all the math and realize I ain't got enough males in my subjects. Okay. You got nothing. So let's scroll down and we can look. I can double click. I can't double click with a keyboard. Something just happened. Welcome to psychology. Wait a second, a lot of us stupid male psychologists are also feminine. Hey! Oh. What are you getting at? Okay. Okay, so I want to click on this, and it should give me the right thing, but it's not. There it goes. So if you look up at the screen up here, see this the little box up here? Yeah, so I'm just, so the little box up there where it says add value label, did you get that? It's just, see where the mouse is up here? That little box right there? And mine's saying hide now, but that's how you show data labels. And then mine automatically puts percentage. You count and percent. Mine, so I have to put count in, you guys have to put percentage. Just, it's the way that my software, I have version 22 and you guys have something different. Okay. I have 20, you guys have 22. Oh, I did that by accident, I clicked the wrong thing. I think it looks cool though. This little box, it looks like a Pac-Man eating the moon. Return slice, separate slice, return slice, separate slice. I kind of like it, it looks nice. But anyway, so do I have enough people to do this analysis? What's enough? 15, good. If I have at least 15 in my group, you'll understand why next week. But if I have 15 in my group, I have enough subjects to make a difference, to see if there's anything that's really there. Okay, so now, I have 29 males and 68 females in my data set. Okay, so what do I have to check for now? We haven't done this since like the second week of class, if ever we're doing this again. Every time I say make a graph, you guys always shout, histograms! And now you forget to make histograms. So how many histograms do I have to make? How many body parts are we measuring? Oh, at least. So what you want to do is you're going to start making histograms. And I would suggest working with the people next to you so you don't have to do this all day. But I'm going to make a histogram of height. Why am I making a histogram of height? What if Ty and Morgan screwed something up? Well, yes, it is their fault, but I don't really see any outliers. I do have one short person, or a couple of short people, but are short people existing in our world? Yes. No, but I like to see it just because it's practice. So the next time you make one, just click the little save standardized values wrong graph. Yeah. So see display normal curve? Just click that box next. That's it. That's the only difference. And it really doesn't change anything because what are you looking for? The only thing I think that there's a problem with is on head on this one. I don't know. Yeah, I would just do the left hand, right hand. Yeah, just keep making. So if you do it with the people next to you, you do the first 4, they do the next 4. Do you really need to make all bazillion histograms? No, break it up and discuss which ones. For example, when I look at this, something ain't right. Do we have microencephaly at Cuyamaca College? Well, is it possible for someone to have a head that small? Well, the average is 548 and this person is less than 100? The word pinhead comes to mind. It's a very negative term. Please don't call anybody pinhead. Hey Google, what does the slang pinhead mean?
According to Merriam Webster, 1, the head of a pin. 2, something very small or insignificant. 3, a very dull or stupid person.
A very dull or stupid person when you call them a pinhead. That's a zombie, but a dead zombie. So it's beyond dead. It's dead zombie. Moving on. Go. Left. So, do you guys need to do something about this poor person with the microcephalic head? Well, before you can just randomly delete them, what should you go do? Look at the data. So this is the reason you're doing this. What are you looking for? What's this word? Errors. Outliers would be another word that you could look for. This is what we call instrumental error. Someone screwed up because it's impossible for someone's head to be that small. No offense to the person who's a pinhead, but you're not smart enough to understand what I'm saying, so don't worry about it. See, it's funny now that you know what pinhead means. Yeah, well, if the measurements are right, are the ratios right? Yeah, so everything eventually you should check to make sure there's no random errors in the data. This is the boring part of statistics. Okay, so I'm going to go back to my window. You have to check all the variables. So if everybody in your table checks 3 or 4, you could be done in just a minute or two. I'll give you a hint. If you use the syntax, it's significantly faster. No, I'm looking at the data right now. So when you look at the data, you'll see the problem. Again, what are we looking for? Well, we're looking for error that's not caused by being male or female. We're looking for error that's being caused by whoever typed this into the computer, aka Tyre Morgan. Okay? Because if you go off chasing rabbits, remember, keep your head if you go off chasing rabbits, you never know when to fall. Sorry. Remember what the dormouse said, keep your head. It's a great song. Until you actually see the people who sing it, it's an awesome song. But then when you actually see like a lot of these songs from the 70s, that they're very creepy. Like the Mamas and the Papas. I do too, but you realize there's a lot of weird stuff going on with them. Okay, so let me go to images really quickly while you guys are clicking away. Yep. Okay, one of the guys, I gotta find the picture of one of these guys. Something like that. But when you watch the video, there's a good picture of him. This guy. Not iCarly. Cast of... No, it looks just like him. Okay, sorry, the guy from the Mamas and Papas looks just like him. Okay, that's randomly tangential. Okay, so which makes good live streaming, I guess. Okay. Okay, so something's wrong here. Look at this subject. They ain't got a head, and what is their calf? Their foot is halfway up their femur. You can't. So what's wrong with this poor subject? Now I sorted descending to get this. What's wrong with this person? Everything. So what should we do with this subject? Delete their... Yeah. Okay, so I as I'm scrolling through, I noticed that that the head, there's a weird measurement. Okay, so I noticed that something is wrong. So what I do is I right click, you double touchpad anyway. I right click on where the column where it says head in the data view, and then I say sort ascending or sort descending. Okay, I'm going to sort ascending this time. And what does it do? It puts this subject at the top. Well, wait, didn't someone find something weird with the pinky finger? Yeah, there's a couple weird ones. I'm going to guarantee that maybe this subject right here, subject number 249, that's their ID number, subject 249, I have a feeling that they weren't very truthful when they were measuring stuff. Well, look at all the other finger measurements. 60, 70, 90. These guys are 100. On the pointer, does anybody seem weird? So I'm going to make my pointer finger here. Do they seem right? Well, wait a second. Oh, there's a few people out there. Is that okay? Yeah, that's not too bad. But what if I make this one? Let me make their calf. Yeah. Is that... What? So if I see that, are there a bunch of people down there? Uh-oh. It says 5. Oh, wow. Maybe something's wrong with those people's data. Maybe we should not look at that CAF data. Okay, so this subject number 249 has got a few problems with their data. So what should we do? We should delete the whole thing. Look at the middle finger, 999. Middle, 999. So what am I going to do with that whole subject number 249? I'm going to right-click and hit clear. Now it's out of order because we sorted by that variable. If you want to put it back in order, you sort it by key, and it'll put it back in order. So I double-clicked where it says up. Go to the. I'm going to scroll over to the head here. You can't. SPSS does not play well with children. So where's the head size here? Yep, there it is. So I right-clicked on it. Right-click on it and then sort. Sort either ascending or descending. I'm going to sort ascending, and I discover that this person has a 0 head. 0 heads ain't right. Yep. Well, let's talk about it. So do we find, y'all find the negative caps in here? Well, let's sort ascending, sort descending. Wow, this person's got a significantly negative cap. Oh, I see why, because look what their femur length is. Well, this is called data. Yeah. Are all the ones that are at the bottom messed up? So it's almost as if a bunch of people are added last minute that don't seem to fit any parameters. Who would do that sort of thing to you? It's awful. Why would we? I did. Okay. Do you notice they also don't have heart rates? No, I added the data so you can find bad data. You're going to delete subject number 251, 252, 253, and 250. Yeah, why would you have to make the graph again? So, why is this so important, folks? This is what doing statistics is like. I know, roll your eyes. Okay, but this is it. So your job is to describe the data, but before you can describe the data, you have to check the data. And are there flags that showed up pretty quickly making the histograms? Yes, 0 pointer finger. There's no pointer finger. We don't have 5 people who chopped off their fingers. What is it? Well, there's a lot of people that don't have a heart rate, but these people also don't have heart rates, and they also don't have pointer fingers. So they also have negative caps. And is there a problem systematically with these 4 subjects? Yes. So because there's a systematic problem with these 4 subjects, is their data reliable? No, we don't know if it's valid or not, so we can't use it in our analysis. We have to get rid of them. And they're all guys, they all screwed up. Not all the blank heart rates, but the ones that see the zeros and the pointer fingers, and see the negative, or the 999s for the middle finger are 999s for the other middle fingers. It doesn't work, so we're going to clear those. So why do you think we're not doing this on the exam day? We're doing it today. Because you're not panicking during the exam and forgetting. You should never panic during a stats exam anyway. It's not raining. But you should only panic doing stats when it's raining and you're by yourself. Sure. Okay, so if I go to my output, I only made a few, so I'll let you guys figure it out. If I just click on the output over here, and I hit the graph, I just hold shift down, what can I do? I can delete the whole bunch. I need to get rid of my pie chart too, don't I? Yeah. So guess what would happen if you saved your syntax right now? If you saved your syntax, you could just run it again and have them all done in half a second. Remember the syntax? Graph, that works fine too. I'm going to go to histogram. I'm going to check cap lengths now. That looks much better. Wow, it's almost as if there's two groups. Weird. So just to ground you a little bit, what we did is we started making a pile of histograms, right? Okay. Why did we make the histograms? To look for errors in the data. We're not looking for cause and effect. We're just looking for mistakes. Okay, so I can easily do this if I go to graph and go to like histogram, and we've done this once or twice, but as opposed to clicking OK, what can I do? Click paste. And what is that? Coding, said with disdain. But could I actually just do this? As opposed to clicking OK, click paste. Which ones were the finished sentence? I just deleted everything. I cleared the whole thing. Because did we delete a bunch of mails? Yeah, so do we have to redo the pie chart too? Yep. Yep. Yeah. Okay. Come on. Okay. So, see all these people with negative stats. Is that possible? So we know that's happening. Okay. And so after people go down, go around. You can always get back. So these are the four subjects, okay? The right foot at the top. And one more. Okay, so it's hard because you can only see a part of the spreadsheet at a time, so it's good to do that.
You make all of them?
Yeah. No, don't need to remake all of them. Each one of you just make one or two that were weird before and see if they're fixed. Ah. Not yet. Then, yeah. Then, yeah. Yeah? So you can, if you want to just type in all the variable names, you can literally just type the variable names in after each histogram, copy paste, copy paste, copy paste like I did. And then so you can easily, if you save this, and we happen to measure a bunch more introduction to psych students, could you just run the same analysis again? Yeah, without having to click every single time. That's why the syntax is so important. So I'm just gonna keep making these. I know that those were the ones that I added in there. Let's add the whole leg and see what we get. That's good. Yes. Sure. Walking away from the computer. So as a statistician, sadly, it's extremely boring because what are we doing? Moving column A to column B, checking for column C to line up with column A and B. Hey, this is why data entry technicians make so much money, because it's boring and it's really important. Nobody wants to do it. But if you screw up the data entry part, no, but nothing else can be done. So if this part isn't right, the rest of the analysis is complete crap, even if you do it right. Ha. Okay. Sure. So that's what we're going to do right now. Well, yes, but wait, let's figure it out. So let's go to analyze. Okay, so let's go to analyze and let's run a correlation. Remember how to do the correlations from last time, most of us? Correlate, bivariate, 2 variables at a time. The first, well, that's cool. The first thing that you put in is the thing that's going to be in the first column. So put the thing you're most interested in the first column. So I go to analyze, correlate, and the first one is bivariate. Got it? Okay, so then all I'm going to do is click on everything else. I held shift down as I hit the down key. How come I don't put key in there? Subject ID number. There's really no effective key. Are you throwing mice? Yeah. Okay, that's fine. Be nice to the computer lab. Okay, today's what day? Wednesday. I got an email 24 minutes ago that there's no Lincoln. They have a half day today. They got picked up quite a long time ago.
No.
No, do not include the key, because what is the key? Subject ID number. We don't really care that there's a relationship between your subject ID number and your male and femaleness. You do? Okay. I'm going to click paste and then run it, just because I like to look at it. See how it just says correlation, a list of variable names? I did hit paste. But now I'm going to run it, so you can just hit run if you want to. The reason why pasting things is important is because, I know, just keep pressure, it'll keep coming out. Okay, the reason why this is important is because if we have to do this again and you save your syntax, it saves a remarkable amount of time. We look at data that I have from 2005 when we did this. Could we just run the same analysis? We can compare the two results, and it only takes a click. I'm going to hit run. Highlight and hit play, which is a little triangle. Becoming overwhelmed. You can do it, people. This is not that exciting. It should not be stressful. I'm going to make this as big as I possibly can. Strongest correlation. Because the word most relationship is weird, but strongest relationship sounds better. Okay, so I'm just going to take a picture of this really quickly. Go. Okay, so if I'm looking at this chart, here is my biological sex. Here is my variable y. This is what I'm trying to predict. Does heart rate predict whether you're male or female or not? Say louder. No, because the probability is 41% that it's likely to occur by chance. Here, I'll come over. Okay. Okay. Wait, we're too far ahead. Okay. So the biggest factor that I notice is, so far in the first couple is, well, we already know, height. In fact, it's 0.59, is what we found before. Is that very similar to what we found when we did the Center for Disease Control data? Yeah, it was 0.53 with the high school kids, remember? Which, well, because we have males coded 1 and females coded 2. They had females coded 2 and then males coded 1. Or the other way around. They had females coded 1, we had females coded 2. Just all depending on what you put first in the categories. Positive versus negative. So, which means that the more male you are, the more positive you are. It's the opposite. So male is a 1. So the more 1 you are, the taller you are. The more 2 you are, female, the shorter you are. You can I'll make the graph and you can see it real easy. But looking at the fingers, is there any real difference in the fingers? Does anything show up interesting? Not in that particular graph. Let me go down to the other graph. So as I'm scrolling down through head diameter, oh, well, oops, can't draw on the screen. What about head diameter? 3, so wait, 2 is positive, female's positive. It's kind of hard to visualize male and female positiveness, so we can make some graphs to show this in just a few minutes. Okay? But then arm length, is that significant? Yeah, that's significant. Arm length. Whole leg length, statistically. What about forearm length? I see 0.08. I don't see any little asterisks up here. Okay, so as I'm scrolling down, femurs. Oh, not statistically different. What about calves? I'm looking for the asterisks, and because what I'm looking for, walking away from the mic again, this is my significance. This is the probability of it being normal. Is it normal? No, we're looking at 0.05 as being normal, 95%. That's strange. Something is going on with our calves, but not with our femurs. But is that what I drew when I drew the graph? Females have longer calves. There's a positive relationship with calves. If you score above the mean on sex, female, but females have longer calves. Positive relationship. Males are taller. Negative relationship. Male scores 1. Okay, we'll make the graph in a second. So what about torsos? Yes, there's a difference in torsos. There's a relationship in torsos, I should say. I'm going to scroll all the way down. Okay, what about ratios? Remember, males are taller than females. So we calculate their body parts based on the relative aspect of their height. So are the ratios of feet the same or different? Where's their feet ratio? Foot ratio. Oh, interesting. It is barely statistically significant. What about their forearms? So how do we see this? This is kind of complicated to understand with a dichotomous variable. How do I show significant differences? Okay, so we're going to put this on one graph. One graph. Okay? So if in order to put things on one graph, we have to put everything on the same scale. Z-scores. So anybody remember how to make Z-scores? Good start. Descriptive. Oop, missed. Descriptive. And then what's a button that you have to click before you do anything else? To save standardized values as variables. So what am I going to put in here? Should I put everything in? Careful. No. Do I need to put males and females in there? No. Do I need to put heart rates? No, because is there any significant difference in heart rate? No. Should I put height? Yep. How am I choosing what to put in here? Hey! Head diameter. So I am scrolling down, and Carlotta, this might be difficult for you, moving back and forth, so I'll come and help. But I'm scrolling down my correlation chart, and I'm narrowing down the amount of information I'm getting because I'm only looking at the things that have significant correlations. Torso, yes. Arm, what about forearm? Forearm, is that statistically significant? No. Full leg? Yep. Yep, that's correct. But femur, is femur not? No. But the calf is statistically significant, but femur is not. Okay? And then, so let's go down to torso, head. Why is forearm length? Because forearm length isn't statistically significant. It's right at the top. The forearm ratio is. So we'll put that on there. I'm just looking at the body parts by themselves first, then we'll look at the ratios. A ratio is proportion to height. The actual measurements is literally if we put our forearms next to each other, would they be about the same length? What's really cool, in most people, if you stand up straight, your hands go to the same spot on your body. If you measure relative to the waist, their hands landed about the same spot in everybody's body. Except some people we call the Neanderthals, their arms are a little bit too long for the rest of their body. And their arms hang just about a knuckle lower than everybody else. My friend Jim is like that, and we have a sports psychologist friend of mine, scratch my eye again, psychologist friend of ours, that his arms are way too long for his body. And he's a professional athlete. Maybe that has something to do with his professional athleticism because he plays volleyball. So. Yeah, his arms are slightly too long for the rest of his body. Okay, so I'm going to just put down the rest of these here. Torso ratio, calf. Torso ratio, head ratio, leg ratio, femur ratio? Nope. Arm? Yep. Forearm? No. Foot? Yes. And calf? Yes. Okay. So I just went down through this with the help of you guys and chose all the ones that are statistically significant, and now I'm going to make z-scores on those. Are we okay so far? Yes. The forearm, let me look back up here. Where's forearm here? Forearm ratio? Oh, forearm ratio should be in there. Yeah, forearm ratio I have in there. Foot ratio, forearm, I do not have forearm ratio though. Do I? Yeah, it says forearm, but it's forearm ratio, yeah. Someone didn't label that properly. Incompetent bastard. Okay. Yeah, because the forearm at the bottom, right above calf ratio, is statistically significant. I'm going to move mine down so mine's up properly. Oh, I guess I'm not. There we go. As long as you can read the graph and are not reading position. You get it? Excellent. Confidence. Okay. So, how many subjects do we have in our database? 92 subjects. Okay, we have 92 subjects in our database. Right here, this little chart tells us all the main things that we need to know. Our average heights, our average, everything that is different, we have our averages at. Okay, but we also have a whole new column of z-scores. Bless you. We have a whole new column of z-scores. So now we're going to make a bar chart. Bless you. Clustered bar chart. Don't click OK yet. Now, don't click OK yet. I know, I can see. We just did make these scores. We don't see them because they're in the data. We're going to see them now. Okay. So now we're going to put summaries of separate variables. Can we put z-scores on one graph? What's the mean of a distribution of z-scores? 0. Okay. The mean of a distribution of z-scores is 0. Because a z-score is your position relative to the mean. If you score above the mean, that means, brace yourself, you're above the mean. If you score below the mean, you'll have a negative z-score. Okay, so let's take just the body measurements, the z-scores of my body measurements. You have to make this big now to really see all this stuff because this gets complicated. So before we start dumping body parts over the bridge, what's our category? What are we interested? What question are we trying to answer? Male or female? So put the biological sex in the category. If you don't have this giant box for bars up at the top, you forgot to collect separate variables. Doing and watching is difficult. No, because that would be a giant mess. So, waiting for her to catch up and then we'll do it. Okay, let's just put the whole body measurements. So not the ratios, let's just put the body measurements. So I've got Z-score for height, Z-score for head, torso, arm, whole leg, and calf. See up here? I highlighted all of those. If you hit shift and hit the down, you can highlight more than one at a time. This is what it should look like. Do you not have the Z-scores? I heard? That means when you went to descriptives, you forgot to click the little box that says Save Standardized Values. So I'm going to go back to here. So when you go to Analyze Descriptives, make sure you click this little box. It's going to get obnoxious, I know it is. I'm tired. Yeah, I need to get out more. Oh, that's cool. Didn't know I could do that. Okay, what's up? Okay. Please don't do that twice, because if you do it twice, what do you get? Massive columns and columns and columns of lots and lots of Z-scores. It happened last class. Somebody had it like 3 times. Okay. We got it back there? Still shaking head no? I'm going to click OK. We're going to look at this graph. And I'll walk back and help. That was easy. I like that. That's a good. Look, we don't need heart rate in there, so don't worry about heart rate. That's why. Yeah. Okay. So something weird's going on. Can someone describe what this graph is? It's not percent. This is Z-scores. Don't do that. Okay. This should pull up a graph here in a second, but my little button's not working. How about now? It'll probably pull up 3 times now. Oh well. I don't know what's going on with the computer, but okay. So, who's taller, male or females? Males are taller, but look at the other measurements of the males. not bigger everything. They have smaller everything compared to the females. So the bigger means point going up, and the small means going down. So males are physically bigger, but what about the head diameter? Who's bigger? Females are slightly larger heads than males. Females have slightly taller or slightly longer torsos. Wait a second. How come they're all this way except for height? No. I wish this would go because I would like to circle things and John imagine this. But what is the relationship here? Positive or negative? Negative, right? Wait, look. Okay, you can do this, folks. Trust me, you can do this. If I were to draw a line. Okay. No snack talking and stuff. Okay. If I were to draw a line, is it slope positive or negative?
Oh, negative.
Hard to roll down the negative slope. It's hard to push up a positive slope. Okay. So all of these correlations were positive that we graphed. So they're low on this and high here. Not really high, but higher. The negative relationship is here, there. You got it? So what we're seeing, how come we only see the positives and negatives? We don't see the other ones. How come we only put the significant correlations here? Wait. Why did you say that? Because that's right. These guys are still fighting on which graph to make, right? I'll wait for them to fight finishing it. They're still struggling. Yeah, so okay. This is where I usually get all the text message, who's picking me up at school today. Now, okay, so this is really important. Okay, so it doesn't matter if the graphs are in the same position or order or not. Okay? Because if you want to, okay guys, listen carefully. Wait, if you wanted to do this the most effective way, wait, if you wanted to do this the most boring effective way, you would go graph, error bar, and make a single graph for every single one of these. But again, that's like making every single histogram, right? It's kind of a pain in the butt. By making one graph, and again, the biggest problem with doing stats is you. The computer, can it do everything perfectly? Yes, but when you guys put them in the wrong order, what happens when you're trying to read it? It screws you up trying to read it if you don't put it in the right order. Or if you just click the wrong thing, what happens? Well, it doesn't mess everything up. I know, but you're fine, you're close. It's just, if you make one little mistake and it doesn't say exactly the same thing as the person sitting next to you, that's when you guys start panicking. So that's why it's really easy to take a deep breath and go, wait a second, make it as simple as possible. That's why we convert things to z-scores. The negative relationship between height is very easy to see. Are males taller than females? Yeah, the z-score represents your relative position to the mean. Relative position to the mean. So if I were to line everybody up by height, most males would be above the mean. Most females would be below. I say most because is it 100%? No, it's 58%. Not 100%. So most statistically enough. Hold on, wait a second for that. So when I'm trying to figure out what the answer to my question is, this graph actually shows me the answer. Okay, you said something that these guys are arguing, but why do I use this? What are these factors? You said it. To make a better prediction. If I find someone with short legs who is tall, I'm going to guess that they are a male. If they have longer legs and are short, I'm going to guess female. But if I find somebody who has short calves, short legs, short arms, short torso, and a small head but are tall, that's what I drew on the board. Well, think about the hypermale. Why do guys have their pants halfway down their legs? To make their legs look shorter, to look more masculine. Why do girls wear damn shoes that make their back ruined? But not just their legs longer, their calves longer. I'm serious. It's like the more, without being offensive, but the more stripper shoe you wear, the longer your calf aspect ratio of your calf. My daughter, when she was little, would always go to Nordstrom with my wife, and I love these, the clear acrylic giant high heels. My wife's like, oh! There's only so many stripper shoes you can wear in your life before you eventually become a stripper. Okay, so but the idea is, but why wear those shoes? To look more feminine. Then you wear vegan earth shoes with the glue that doesn't work. Anyway, my shoes fell apart because these are vegan shoes. Oh, I don't know, probably 5 years or so. Yeah, but I don't wear them very often because they're vegan shoes. And when you make vegan shoes, good glue is made out of animal products. And so I've re-glued the soles on 3 or 4 times. I'm going to glue mountain bike tread on the bottom of these next. I think it'd be pretty cool. Anyway, so should you save this? At least save the data set. Okay, save the data. Upload it somewhere. You don't need to save the graphs because it's that easy to make the graphs with the data. Now that we have all the z-scores, not to submit the assignment. It's not going to be due until next Thursday. So this is... Oh, I got to stop recording because this is just stupid.